Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Beer Garden again. Today, again, along with Nathan, Steve, and myself, we are going to talk about the Wednesday race cards at Happy Valley later today in Hong Kong. But before talking about our tips today, let's have a short recap about last Sunday's big races at Charene. We just watched two big races, including the Group 1 Queen Silver Jubilee Cup and our common selection, California Spangle. He was beaten by Lucky Swainess, and also in the Hong Kong Derby 2023, Voyage Bubble was the winner. What do you think about it, Nathan? What about the two races? How do you think about it?
They both had very interesting sort of fallouts, didn't they? I mean, California Spangle, we all tipped him and thought he was the class. And I still think, I mean, look, there was no knock on running into second behind what is probably a rising star in Hong Kong in Lucky Swainess. He was ultra impressive. Zach Burton going forward on California Spangle. James McDonald picks up the ride on Lucky Swainess, gets over to Hong Kong and does what he does best. He finds the back of the best horse, peels off him, and then just ends up being too good in the end. It was a very, very smart ride, an intelligent ride. I mean, we thought they'd both go forward, but Lucky Swainess, 400 metres, probably, I think punters probably thought it sorted him out rather than the 1200. I think he's a genuine sprinter. But though the 400 metres ended up working out perfectly because they just went so slow, he was able to sprint off that slow tempo and keep the stamina in behind. And it was a really, really good win, a dominant win. And punters here in Australia, I know I'm one of them. We want to see Lucky Swainess coming over for an Everest later in the year. That would just be amazing. I think he would not be out of place in one of the world's richest races. So I'd love to see him come over here. And then Voyage Bubble in the Derby was just incredible. As we were saying before the show started, I mean, if you had a ticket on him mid-race, you didn't want to keep it. I thought there was no way he was able to stay on and continue to run, and he was just an amazing win. Alexi Bedell, take a bow, sir. You know, the way he just crept into the race from the back of the field when he had no choice but to take his medicine from barrier 14. It's one of the more, I don't think anyone would say it was, an outstanding win, but one of the more special wins in terms of visually impressive. It's just one of those races we'll look back on and just think, how's he won? And no matter how you look at it, sectional wise and the ride and how everything unfolded, it was just an incredible set of circumstances by Alexi Bedell and the team. And so well done to everyone involved in Voyage Bubble. It was an incredible win. And now they win 2 of the 3 legs of the 4-year-old series. They win at the mile and they win. And I don't think anyone would have had them winning the 2,000-meter race to finish it off, but they did. And it was an incredible effort.
Yes, definitely. And I think the Hong Kong Derby this year will be the race that I will never forget in my entire life. What do you think about it, Steve, in the Derby and also the Queen Silver Jubilee Cup?
Yes, we were hopeful that California Spangle, the class would show through, but of course, the winner, Lucky Swainess, a very classy horse in his own right, and just had too much ammunition. Really, expected better a little bit, I think, from California Spangle, but he was quite tame in the end, I think, really. And California Spangle showed his class, and James McDonald too. It's amazing how these jockeys can just, without a great deal of track experience, and just come over and ride the race, isn't it? And yes, very good win. And as we said, as Nathan says, pre Beer Garden, talking about Voyage Bubble, had he even been drawn in a favourable draw, we would still have probably gone for our Beauty Eternals, our Tuchels, and our Solid Points. But just a fantastic ride and great consolation for Alexi Bedell after losing the ride on Wellington in the Jubilee Cup, gets his reward at a shock. Well, certainly it's one of the biggest shocks in recent times, isn't it, for the Hong Kong Derby? And it just proves never discount any horse, especially over the draw. If the horse is good enough, they win from anywhere, which I still find hard to believe when he's 4 wide. But he got the job done, and well done to All Connections.
Yeah, that was really amazing. And I'm really happy for Alexi Bedell and also for the local trainers because Voyage Bubble is trained by Ricky Yu, the previous champion trainer in Hong Kong. And also Lucky Swain is the winner of the Group 1 race, which is trained by Manfred Mann, both are local trainers that having quite good results in this term. So hopefully all the local jockeys and also trainers can also have some great performance again tonight at Happy Valley. So let's talk about our preview today. The first race we are going to discuss will be the race 7. It is the first leg of the treble. Race 7, it is a class 3 over 1200 meters. Nathan, who do you pick in race 7?
Yeah, pretty keen on one here. I thought this was a very, very good race as a whole. I think you can look at it in a few different aspects, but the one I've landed with here is number 5, Gorgeous Vitality. I'm very surprised. I didn't realize this until looking through the form yesterday that this guy's had 11 starts in Hong Kong, and not once has he stepped up to the 1200 meters. And that's exactly what he does on Wednesday night. I think this is his chance to go up in trip and really solidify himself as one of the sort of, we know he's consistent, but can he sort of go up in trip and make the 1200 meters a race of his own? I think he can here. From barrier 3, draws really nicely here with Vincent Ho jumping on board. He jumped on last time, and go watch the replay behind Atomic Force. It was a very, very big forgive. He missed the start completely, went back to last, or near enough to last. 10th of 12 in the run throughout, and absolutely powered to the line, did this deep field gelding. I thought it was very, very impressive. Frankie Law's got him going very well. He's very consistent. He's had 9 starts at this track for 2 wins and 3 other minor placings. You know what you're going to get from Gorgeous Vitality. And when I believe we're in the C+3 on Wednesday night, so that's going to be favourable for runners up on the speed as a general rule. So the fact that he's drawn 3, he can jump nicely, and with some genuine tempo drawn outside him, I think he can just sit in behind the leaders here, find the 1-1 position. And if he does, I think he's very, very hard to beat. You look at a horse like Majestic Knight's probably going to come across and go very quickly. I personally believe California Sybil's much better suited running up on speed as well. So I think there's going to be a genuine tempo there. The other one that gets a very nice run in transit's number 6, Lucky 8. But I had a feeling that we were going to get a nice enough price for Gorgeous Vitality here. And at the 7.2 and 2.3 on the place line, I think he's a pretty good each way bet, honestly. I think he can run you a nice race. You know what you're going to get from him. He's consistent. He'll run well. He draws well. Vincent Ho sticks as well, which is another bonus. And in a race where even Hero Star and other horses will go forward, there's going to be a genuine tempo. So we know that this guy can sprint. And the fact that he steps up for the 1200 meters for the first time shows intent for me. So Gorgeous Vitality, the on-top pick, and pretty confident here. I think it's over the odds.
Yes, it is quite interesting to see that number 5, Gorgeous Vitality, will drive the 1200 meters for the first time, but it is a really consistent sprinter that's from the Frankie Law stable. What do you think, Steve? Who do you pick in race 7?
Yes, also going for number 5, Gorgeous Vitality. I picked him last time when he was 3rd. I think that was the day you had the second Nathan Seasons wit. I think Jimmy Richards and Zach Burton. So, yeah, he's flashing down on the outside. Gorgeous Vitality stayed on really well. And if you look back at his 2 wins last season, he won by over 3 lengths in both of them. He beat Yellowfen and also Viva Mama. And the way he runs through the line, you would imagine that the 6th furlongs would be ideally suited as well, the 1200 meters. And as you say, very much unexposed. He went up 22 pounds last season for those 2 victories. Really was extremely good runs. And the fast finish, actually, his 3 runs of this year have been quite good. He comes into this actually a quite a lightly raced horse with just 3 runs. A very nice 3rd on his return after a 169-day absence. Maybe a slightly below par 5th sandwich between them. But last time, certainly a real eye catcher when 3rd to Atomic Force. The handicapper hasn't taken any chances. He's left him unmarked on a mark of 71 all season. But, and as you say, Nathan, there's a lot of pace, a real speed fest going on here, which I think will suit him to the ground. Even like, as you say, Hero Star, Majestic Knight out wide, but likely to go forward under Zach Burton. Another one, a horse that I do like is Lucky 8. It's a horse that I followed a few times. Zach Burton, 1-1-2 in his 3 rides on the Redoubt's Choice gelding. And last time, I don't think he was surprisingly a short price favourite over the 1,000 metres at Charene, but I don't think that really sees him playing to his strengths. And he stumbled in the race, but I think he was probably just coming under pressure that day under Jamie Carr. He's an interesting horse, nicely drawn in gate 1, but with the fast pace on offer, Gorgeous Vitality should have a lot more to offer at this trip, and he gets a confident vote for me too.
Yeah, so number 5, Gorgeous Vitality for both Nathan and Steve, and I think he's the one to beat because he's really consistent, as we just mentioned. Gate 3 is quite ideal, and also the price is quite attractive at this moment, 7.2. So he's the ones to beat. But I'm with number 2, California Sybil, the current favorite. The price now is 3.4, but I think he is able to show some improvement, especially with Hugh Bowman on board. And actually, Hugh Bowman is doing quite well in this season in Hong Kong. He already have 36 winners here, but over 1,200 meters at Happy Valley, he needs to have some breakthrough. So hopefully, California Sybil can bring some breakthrough for him over this trip and distance. Gate 6 this time is not bad, especially there are some fast horses here in the field. So the tempo will be quite suitable for California Sybil to find a great position. And actually, he suffered from some setbacks before, but in this season, he is lightly raced. So at the middle of the season, these kind of horses will have some advantage because they are not really tired. So hopefully this time from Angus Jones to Hugh Bowman, he can handle the horse better because he need to find a good position from the draw. So this time Hugh Bowman on board, I think he is the horse will be continue to show some stable performance, just like last start, because he stayed wide last time out, but he still can finish, get a placing. But this time, hopefully, a better jockey on board, he can show some improvement. So number 2, California Sybil for myself. And to recap, for Nathan and Steve, they agree with number 5, Gorgeous Vitality, and I will go for the current favorite, number 2, California Sybil. He will also be my best bet for the night. And the second leg of the treble will be race 8 that we are going to discuss. It is a class 2 over 1650 meters. Nathan, who do you pick in race 8?
Yeah, 11 horses here, 11 chances, in my opinion. I thought this was a really, really tricky race. A race with, I think, tactics and also just position in run is going to be the key factor. I think you can look at this race very similarly to the previous in terms of, I think there's going to be a genuine tempo. I think there's a few horses here that will ping the leads and go forward. They include Telecom Fighters, I think will try and lead them up and go forward. Red Majesty won't be sticking around. And so with that in mind, and even Everyone's Delight has a tendency to press forward. So I think you're going to get a genuine tempo over the 1650. And for me, that sets up nicely for one of the ones that'll be hopefully getting a midfield sit. And that's if he jumps properly, because he does have a tendency to miss it. And that's number 7, Savaquin. We've got Hugh Bowman jumping on board. Charene, you mentioned how well he's been traveling since arriving over in Hong Kong. He's going really, really well. He's riding out of his skin, particularly at the Valley. I've noticed he's had some really nice rides on the city circuit. So generally like to favour his runners when he's racing in form, and he's been running really, really well. Draws gate 5, should get a nice run, but again, Savaquin does have a tendency to miss the start. You go 2 starts back when he ran in behind the Irishman, when Steve, I believe, made him a best bet that night. The Savaquin was very, very good from back, near enough to last, turning for home, and he powered to the line, but was just too late. And he drew 10 on that occasion. So part of it was that he missed it, but he also had to take his medicine from the gate and went back. And then, but on that rating and on that run, that was in class 1. This is class 2, and he gets a nice weight for that. He comes here, gets him pretty nicely at the weights with the 127 pounds on his back. So gets in nicely with horses like Carroitus coming up in grade. He's an interesting galloper, but I think he'll be one of the last ones turning for home. So I'm happy to steer against him. But Savvy Nine's another one that is piquing my interest as well. I think he's a little bit over the odds after his return last time. I thought he was pretty impressive. So there's some interesting ways you can look at this race, but I just kept defaulting to Savaquin where he gets on the map. He's consistent at this course and distance, even though he's had 22 starts. He's had 2 wins at the course and distance for 12 minor placings. So John Sizes has this guy going really, really well in general. He usually comes here well enough, and on the sort of 18-day backup, I think he's going to be hard to beat here if he gets the right run in transit, which he should from gate 5. So I've gone with Savaquin on top. It's a race where I do believe you can make a case for almost every galloper here, but I think Savaquin's the class in the field, and I'll take him on top, even though I do concede that even Berlin Tango jumped off the page as a one that could run well. So look, Savaquin on top, not a lot of confidence, but I think he's the one to beat here.
Yeah, it seems to be quite a wide open race in race 7 because there are a lot of good miler with good recent form. So number 7, Savaquin for Nathan, and I think this time returning back to his favorite trip and distance, he deserves a better performance. Steve, what about you? Who do you like in race 8?
Well, who do I like? Well, it's a tough old race, isn't it? I went for number. I've just noticed I've gone for number 5 in all my selections. Number 5, Cheerful Days, under man of the moment, Alexi Bedell. He boasts 4 wins from 9 runs on the selection, and 2 of those from double-digit barriers, 11 and 12. So the fact that he's in gate 12 this time, it doesn't bother me too much. The horse gets taken back in the races. You'll probably, if you look at the 2 victories under Alexi Bedell, he's come into the home straight, sticking to the far rail, and that's where he's made his winning move. He's a Sun Smart missile, hugely progressive last season. He had 6 wins. It took him a 45-pound rise in the weights. So it's a little surprise that the trophy cabinet's been bare this time. But the handicap is showing him some mercy. He started the season off 104. He's down now to 93, which is £2 lower than his last win. And there's been some signs of encouragement. He was 5th to Spirited Express on IJC night. And despite finishing 8th in the January Cup, there's 3 of the horses in this race that finished ahead of him. He wasn't beaten that far. But I must admit, it's a race, as Nathan says, it's hard to rule anything out. I'm not even too sure about Cheerful Days. I thought he'd be a shorter price than the $16. And when I saw that, it kind of put me off the horse. I was actually thinking of picking something else, but nothing else really appealed to me either. I thought Savaquin was interesting. He was a very good second on his penultimate run, and then didn't really get the rub of the green, I think, on dirt last time. And he never really is a dirt horse. He always wears the eye shields, doesn't he, for his dirt racing? And but I thought at the price, Cheerful Days was a good price. Goritis, maybe a big danger for Danny Shum, but he will get back. And he won after a 210-day break, well flagged up by Nathan, of course. But can he do it again? That's the thing, of a £6 higher mark. And I thought Nearly Fine, he's held his form well for Casper Founds. But another one that perhaps he's done enough for the season. There's, I think, a few in that category. And I thought of Cheerful Days, he wasn't too bad last time. He was over Charene with Jerry Chow on board. Again, it wasn't a flashy run. He stayed on. He's been 6-6 the last twice. Nothing great, but sometimes horses can take a leap, and as I say, he's coming to a workable mark. He is capable of he's been better in better races than this, Cheerful Days. So he gets my selection, but without a great deal of conviction.
Yes, number 5, Cheerful Days for Steve. And he's, of course, a great horse because last season he scored 6 victories in a single season. It is never easy for a horse to do it. And obviously, 1650 at Happy Valley is his favorite trip and distance. And now the rating for him is now 93. I think he is able to bounce back, just like Steve just said. And for myself, I'm with number 1, Savinai. He's lightly raced in this season, but last time he raced over 1,800 meters at Charene. The rivals were too strong for him, but he could still manage to finish 4th. I think it was not bad for his for his start after a short spell. So this time returning back to Happy Valley, and I think he likes the city circuit more because he was the January Cup winner in 2021 before. So hopefully Happy Valley should be a better course for him. And also this time with Ruan Meyer on board again, he is quite a good partner for this horse because he partnered this horse for 2 starts and they finished with 1/3 and 1/4. I think it is quite a good statistic. And this time the rival is not that strong comparing with his last time at Charene. So hopefully gate 6, after working from this good draw, he can take the lead or even or maybe at the box seat behind the leader would be quite good for him. But I think he's able to have some good performance at the top weights because he is quite classy and lightly raced in this term. He's still competitive, I think, at the age of 7. So maybe this race is quite good for us to look for some outsider. To recap, number 7, Savaquin for Nathan, and number 5, Cheerful Days for Steve, number 1, Savinai for myself. And the last race of the treble, race 9 on the card, it will be another class 3 over 1,200 meters. Who do you pick? Who do you fancy in race 9, Nathan?
Yeah, very, very keen on one here. Similar to race 7, we'll go to the last. Number 1, Eason for me. I think it's a very, very good bet on the program. Made him a value run. I thought we'd get a bit of a better price, but around $6, I'll make that an each way bet. I think $2 plus on the place line will be fair enough. I know in Ausbooks he's open 6 and 2.2, so I'll take him on the each way. I think he's a very, very good bet here. Drops down into Class 3 for the first time. He actually dropped in the Class 3 2 starts back, but that was over an unsuitable trip and an unsuitable track. He went to the mile at Charene too, back behind Drombeg Banner, and I don't think that was the right setup for this son of Written Tycoon. I want to go all the way back here to the last time he was in Class 3 over the 1,200 metres, and that's on beating Toronado Phantom, who we can tie into Class 2 form at the moment. Drew barrier 12 on that occasion. That was all the way back in April of 2022. He went on to win and win nicely. He won by 1.8 lengths on that occasion. That was all the way back when Joe Moreira took the reins. And so when he was on, this horse, they had a big opinion of this guy. I thought he was going really, really well. And then after that, when up in the Class 2, was better competitive and behind horses like Keep You Warm and also Family Folks. Now drops back into Class 3 on that winning rating as we spoke of last time. And I think he's going to be ultra competitive here. Yes, he's got to get in with the top weight of 134 pounds, but I think he earns it in this field. Drawn gate 1, they can jump. And then Alexia Bedell, he can do what he wants from gate 1. I think he can either lead if he wants to. If he jumps well enough, he can just take them up. Or if a horse like All Greek to Me comes across from the wide draw, he can just sit in behind him and just get a lovely cart into the race. So I'll leave it up to Bedell, the absolutely airborne Alexia Bedell, to decide what he wants to do from the gate on Eason. But I think this race sets up perfectly. Even Nordic Dragon from barrier 9, you'd imagine, based on how he's been running in Hong Kong on the city circuit, that he'll ping the lids and go forward as well. So again, a pretty genuine tempo. And if there is, I think Eason can just sit in behind the leaders and get a lovely run here. And I think even at $6, I think he's over the odds. I had him marked a lot shorter here back in grade. I think he's a very, very good horse. He's had 13 starts for 3 wins and 3 minor placings. And then I think it's just also they've been running him either 1,400 metres, which is probably just a little bit too far for him. You go behind the Irishman and also Blaze Warrior a couple of starts back. But I think he's a genuine 1,200 metre horse. And 2 of his 3 wins have come at Happy Valley. So I'm very, very keen here to be with Eason. I think he's one of the better bets on the card. I'll make him a value runner for the night, even though I do think he's probably a little bit short to make a value runner. But I just think, in my opinion, he's over the odds even at that price. Going down the page, Equal at a Blitz was a big improver last time. Draws 11, though, but Zach Curtin does keep the ride. So take the reins, sorry. So you've got to be respecting of him. Nordic Dragon, he's got to recapture his best, but his best clearly good enough. His 2 initial runs in Hong Kong were outstanding. Then went to Chartin, and then it was a little bit disappointing, I thought, last time behind Beauty Charge, but he can always improve. And then All Greek to Me. What do we do with him going up in grade? I'm not sure. I thought his win back in Class 4 was very, very good, but always going back up in grade is tough, and he's got to go across from the wide draw. And then Act of Faith, another one that they've elected to go up in grade with. I've got time for him as well. So I've gone wide in my multiples, but I feel like Eason's the one to beat, and I'm getting a fair enough price for mine to be backing him. So Eason and on the each way, I think, is a great way to end this competitive program.
Yeah, so it is quite a strong card in race 9, and Nathan goes with number 1, Eason. He is a class dropper and also gets a good draw. The price now is 5.8, so it will be the value pick for Nathan. What about you, Steve? Who do you fancy in the final race of the card?
Yeah, I went for one that Nathan mentioned, Nordic Dragon. Hopefully can win the finale for Danny Sharmy. Star Spangled Banner. And he won his debut in Taking Fashion at 3.5 length defeat of Melbourne Hall. That was earned him an £11 rise. He won again, beating excellent peers, up another £8. And then back over at Chartin, I think the 1400 allied to a gate 12 didn't really help. And last time, possibly a bit disappointing, but I do think the wide draw, and again, gate 12, he was so 4 wide there. Sometimes you can overcome these, but I don't know. I always like the angle of a horse that is patently a very good one, but perhaps has been disappointing. But that the ability is there. He remains higher, £8 higher for his last win, but Hugh Bowman takes over, and gate 9. While it's not fantastic, it's not that bad. He's got a good initial pace. Now I don't see it being a great problem. Vincent Ho on board before sticks solid with All Greek to Me, who, although up in class, is a flashy looking horse, and he did win well last time. If he can get across or even sit handy, I think he has a good chance. Also, Equalita Blitz, as Nathan said. And Amazing Rocky, well, that he's got a bit to prove, I think, over 1,200 metres, but he might inject a bit of pace into the race. But for me, Nordic Dragon, he hasn't breathed much fire on his last 2 starts, but perhaps he will this time at start number 5.
Yes, number 5, Nordic Dragon for Steve. I think he is a kind of up-and-coming rising star. He started his career at Happy Valley in Hong Kong previously, and he is the debut winner here. So it is not easy for some horse to win on his first up at Happy Valley, but Northern Dragon did it. So hopefully this time he returned back to Happy Valley, and also gate 9 for him is also not a problem. So for myself, in race 9, I'm going with number 8, Compassion Spirit. He is an outsider currently, 9.6. I think gate 3 this time is quite ideal for him. Maybe talking about the speed map of this race, I think Amazing Rocky, who is stepping up to the distance, he is quite fast over the 1,000 meters. So I think he is able to take the lead in over 1,200 meters. He will be the leader. And also Nordic Dragon from gate 9, he will also stay in front along with number 10, All Greek to me, but he's up in class. Maybe he is a bit difficult to face this kind of class 3 rivals. And my pick number 8, Compassion Spirits. As long as he gets a good draw against number 3, I think he can get the rail easily in the midfield. So that would be quite a good position for him. Maybe he will be following Eason from gate 1. So I think the pace will be quite suitable for my pick. Because last time, I think he just finished with a strong 4th. In that race, he was staying in front, but obviously that race was dominated by some back marker. When you watch the replay, you will see that the first 3 of that race, the winner, Beauty Charge, and the second, Sugar, and also Storm Trooper, who finishing 3rd, they were both chasing well from the back. But Compassion Spirits is the only horse that he can stay in front and keep till the end, just beaten by 2.5 mark length. I think it was not bad. And also this time I will give him one more chance because he gets a good draw and also gets a good jockey on board. So Faster D'Souza is good at riding these kind of horses that stay in front. So hopefully he can find some good position and have some good performance, because I think the price is quite good now, 9.6 for the win. I think he is quite a good each way bet for myself. So to recap, race 9, Nathan goes with number 1, Eason, and it is also his value bet for the day. And Steve goes with number 5, another number 5 for him, number 5, Nordic Dragon, and myself, number 8, Compassion Spirit. So after talking about the 3 legs of the treble, let's talk about the horse that we like as our best bets today. Nathan, who do you pick as your best bet?
We're going to go nice and early for the best bet. We're going to race number 2 on the card. That is a class 4 over the 1,200 meters, and that's number 2 for me, Righteous Arian. I think he's very unlucky to only be a one-time winner, actually, since debuting at the beginning of the preparation back in November. Ever since, he's been very, very consistent. He does some things wrong, but comes here after a really nice run, 2 back behind Sonpak Fu. That horse was a subsequent winner from that race, and then he came out and won again. And then from there, I thought he knew he threw it away against Snow a lot. He sort of hit the lead and then rolled out, and almost like he wanted to just roll along as he hit the front. So I think he was very forgivable. But you go back to his win 3 starts back, he actually beat Compassion Super, who he runs into again here. I thought that was a really good win, and Vincent Ho was on board that day, and he drew gate 2 in a very, very similar sort of a race. So I think from barrier 2, he can sort of jump and be a little bit more prominent. He does have a tendency to get a little bit too far back, and if he does that in this race, where I don't see as much tempo as I would like, I think he could be in some trouble. But if he does jump nice enough and better than midfield throughout, I think he's going to be hard to beat. I think he should get a nice gun run from barrier 2, as he did when he won a couple of starts back. And the form around him reads okay. I thought Snow a Lot was all right on Sunday. He ran over the 1,400 meters at Charene. I think I tipped him on that occasion. He was even to the line. I thought he was okay. And so I think his form stacks up nice enough. The one that I thought was the key danger was down the bottom of the page, number 11, Happy Trio, but the market doesn't seem to want to be with him. I thought he was clearly the danger with the form behind A. America Spexo, and the fact of getting 11 to 1. I'm contemplating even having a saver on him because I think that's just the wrong price. Harmony and Home I respect, but I wouldn't have marked 4.2 in this field. So with that in mind, I've gone with Righteous Harry, and I think he's consistent. He deserves another win on the board. And I think the 2.4 is probably a little bit short, but I think it's fair enough considering how consistent he has been. Even go back to his runs behind Sugar and even King and Excellente. He's just been sort of finding the line well enough, and then one just gets over the top of him. I don't think that happens on this occasion. I think Righteous Arian deserves his second win. I think he finds it in the second race of the program. I think he's a very, very good bet, and I'm happy to be with him. Righteous Arian, nice and early. Hopefully, we can get a best bet home in the second race.
Yes, that's a good pick. Number 2, Righteous Arion, and race number 2. He's quite a nicely raced, but I think he was a bit green, but still improving as a 3-year-old. He is able to win at the top race, I think, because he's still improving and exposed really a good horse to follow. And what about you, Steve? Who do you pick as your best bet?
I went to race number 3. That's the Elgin Handicap over a Class 4 over 1,000 metres. And that is Atomic Energy for Tony Cruz and ridden by Angus Chung, who's now only claiming £7, not the 10 anymore. It's always a bit worrying making a best bet about a horse that's still to go and do it. It's always nice to know if they know how to win. But I really liked his run last time. He didn't show much on debut over the straight 1,000 at Charene. He was near last and first behind excellent peers. And then next time it was a very good run, 5th to Juno Flash. And then last time, just 2 weeks later, picked up 2nd. And it's a race that's worked out pretty well. I thought he was going to win that day. G1 Excellent just came with a wet sail on the outside. G1 Excellent has gone on to win again, and Cheval Valiant, who was 3rd in that race, then went on to win back over the 1,000 metres at Chatham. And the selection, he's bagged Gate 2, very nice draw. Hopefully Angus Chung can take him out of the likely Speed Fest, I think, on offer. I think Super Commander from a wide draw will go ahead. Kaolunista up in class was that person, but won well last time. He was on vapors at the end, but he was entitled to be. He'd pushed well clear of the pack, and they were closing at the end. He's an interesting horse. An Ace Talent. He's not devoid of pace either. A nice low draw for him. But yes, I think Atomic Energy on his 4th start. Interesting horse. Hopefully he can get the job done. Another quick mention to Momentum Galaxy, a real servant over the seasons for Jimmy Ting, a 7-year-old who possibly doesn't have the zip that he once had, but he will love this pace as well. If he can keep tabs with the leaders, he showed that he still got a bit of life in him with a good 5th last time. But for me, Atomic Energy. Hopefully he's got the energy to win on his 4th start.
Yeah, and also number 5 should be your lucky number tonight, Steve, because you have all the number 5, in all the treble race, and also as your best bets, race 3, number 5, Atomic Energy. This time partner with Angus Chung again, and also he have some really great, really eye-catching performance last time out as the City Circus, and it is good to see that Tony Cruz is putting this horse over the same course and distance again tonight. And my best bets go with going back to race 7, number 2, California Sybil, that we discussed before in the first leg of the treble. The main point I'm having him this time is we have Hugh Pullman on board this horse. Although he did not have Angus Chung, the pounds claim, ridden by Hugh Pullman this time, the horse is able to handle it because he's really big in size and he's talented, but he had some setback before, but after returning to the track, he is doing quite well. So I'm hoping him that is now his health is now stable and it is in a fit form and also is healthy. So if he can do it, he can handle the top weight. So hopefully Hugh Bowman partnered with California Sybil this time can have some good, better performance. So to recap, our best bets for the night, for Nathan, it is in race 2, number 2, Righteous Arion. And for Steve, race 3, number 5, Atomic Energy. And for me, it is race 7, number 2, California Sybil. And after talking about our best bets, let's discuss our value bet for the day. Nathan, who do you pick as your value bet? Can you tell us again?
Yep, we'll go back to the last here. Number 1, Eason. Very, very keen to be backing him. As I said, back in grade for the first time at this course and distance for some time, back in April of last year. I know it's a long time to go back through the form book to go and find his best form, but look, I just think he's ready to win back at this track. I think he misses the City Circuit, 6 starts, 2 wins, 2 minors at this course and distance. And I think it suits him perfectly. I think it's a race, as we've mentioned, there's plenty of speed on. Just take a sitting behind, does Alexi Bedell for Frankie Law. And I think he's the one to beat, and you're getting a nice enough price to find out at around the $6. So Easton makes the best value. Obviously, it's a tricky race, and both of you have made very good cases for some nice horses here with Nordic Drag and All Greek to me. I mean, the race doesn't stop there at all. I think it's a very, very good race and very competitive. Even Compassion Spirit, Charene made a nice case for as well. Maybe we box up all our selections. So hopefully Easton can do something, though, in the last. I'm very, very keen to be backing him, and hopefully we can finish the card a winner. So Easton, the best value for me on the Happy Valley program.
Yeah, so in the final race of the card, race 9 is quite a strong field, but Nathan has this value bet here. Number 1, Eason. The class dropper should be really competitive in this race, especially he gets the best draw gate, number 1. And Steve, can you remind us who will be your value bet?
Yeah, number 5, Cheerful Days in the quality race of the night, the Class 2 over the 1650, race number 8. It's a race where obviously the quality's there, but there's only 5 horses in the lineup that have actually won in their last 5 starts. They're a bit shy on winning some of these horses. I mean, I did like your pick, Nathan Savaquin, a classy horse, and it's testament to his reliability that it's been a long time between drinks for this horse, but his mark just doesn't shift because he's so consistent, and he must pull John Size's hair out with his consistency. He just doesn't get a win, but he's a very, very good horse. It wouldn't surprise me at all with Hugh Bowman on board. But yes, I just went for Cheerful Days. It's as I say, it's a tough race to call. And every time I looked at some of the runners, and Berlin Tango, interesting horse, but I do think 1650 is probably a minimum for him these days. And Telecom Fighters, I liked him earlier on in his career. I think he tends to be there to be shot at these days. In Parking Award, he's had trachea, blood in the mucus a few times as well. Always puts me off when you see that in a horse. He tends to be a bit hit and miss, Parking Award. Everyone's delighted. I wasn't sure if he could go back-to-back wins. Nearly fine. He might have done enough for the season. He's won 3 times. Can he keep going? And Celestial Powers kind of been in the wilderness this year as well. So I thought Cheerful Days was an interesting horse. The wide barrier doesn't bother me, especially after Alexi Bedell's exploits at the weekend. And also he's actually partnered Cheerful Days to 2 victories from gates 11 and 12 too. So the way this race will be set out with a bit of pace on, I would imagine he'll just be held up for a late run on the far rail. It all sounds quite easy, but that's the way it happens sometimes. So that's for me. Number 5, Cheerful Days.
Yeah, so race 8, number 5, Cheerful Days, gate 11 should not be a big problem for him. He overcome this bet at the wide draw before, and also with the Derby winning jockey Alexi Bedell. Let's have our eyes on him in race 8. And for my value pick, it will be in race 3, the class 4 over the 1,000 meters. I quite like number 9, Momentum Galaxy. It is good to hear that Steve just mentioned this horse. This horse when he said was mentioning his best bet. I think yes, number 5, Atomic Energy is the one to beat. But I think Momentum Galaxy this time at a really competitive rating, I would say, because the rating now 50 is competitive for him. He also have some good performance last season as the similar rating. So hopefully he can bounce back. And I think last time it was really eye-catching because he did not have a really clear one in the home stretch and still managed to run 5th. And this time the pace is quite fast in race 3, I think. So yes, Momentum Galaxy will be quite suitable in the fast pace. And also this time with his best partner on board, Derek Leung, he is also have some good performance with the trainer Jimmy Tang. So hopefully they can partner to have another good performance. So to recap our our value bet for the night at Happy Valley, Nathan goes with race 9, number 1, Nathan. And for Steve, it is in race 8, number 5, Cheerful Days. And for myself, it is in race 3, number 9, Momentum Galaxy. So that's all for our preview for the Happy Valley race card today. I think it is quite hard, tricky. So hopefully we can bring you some winner. Hopefully you will enjoy it, and we will see you next time for the Charene preview. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye.